One of my favorite things to talk about is when countries, nations all over the world decide to throw themselves into the gaming market. I really love it because from time to time, I really need to give myself a reality check because I always just think of the gaming market just being made up of the US, the UK, and Japan. And yes, those are the big three in gaming, but it's important to recognize not only when different countries get involved all of a sudden in the gaming ecosystem, but just acknowledging that there is plenty of raw talent all around the world. And some of it is wasted when you don't give people the opportunity to express themselves through video game creation. So when you give them the tools, you start to see not only, great projects happen, but you can also see economies start doing really well as a result. Because gaming just continues to be such a rising asset in the world. It is so valuable, it has so much of a demand throughout the world, so much so that when the supply actually meets that demand in some of these countries where gaming isn't as big, well, you start to get a lot more people involved in gaming, and also you can start exporting these games, which again really helps your economy. Now, I have talked about a few different nations that, passed laws recently to make it so that video game creation was more accessible and more profitable, with the goal by politicians to, boost their economy. And these countries I've already talked about are very important, don't get me wrong. The two off the top of my head that I really talked about were France and Italy. Those two have really gotten into the gaming market recently, but Brazil is a country that I have never really thought about when it comes to the gaming market, but I think they could really benefit from this because their economy is definitely not the greatest. Their median household income is a small fraction compared to what it is in the US. In the US, it's $74,000 right now, whereas in Brazil, it's $16,000. And their GDP per capita is also comparable in the same way to the US and the UK. So yeah, unfortunately, as beautiful as a country Brazil actually is, they don't have the best economy right now. But I think something like this, something that was just announced by their government, a bill that was 2 years in the making, could really help boost their economy. This is a bill that does a lot for video games in Brazil. Mainly, it redefines what it means to be a video game product. And at the same time, with this new definition, it gives video games a lot of protections, a lot of tax incentives, and gives overall a ton of guidelines to basically ensure the growth of the video game market over time in Brazil. And like we've seen in other countries, this is for the sole reason that these politicians are realizing that, hey, this is kind of an untapped resource in our country. This could get us a lot of money. This could benefit us greatly. It could create jobs, stimulate growth, and just bring a ton of profit to Brazil and to its people. And Brazil also has something called the National Classification of Economic Activities, or CNAE. Long story short, if you basically get your class of products as a specific category in the NCAE, well, it's basically officially recognized by the government, and with it comes a ton of protections. So yeah, they gave the production of video game products its own category in the NCAE, so that is very big. Overall, it's really just recognizing gaming as a legitimate industry in Brazil. No different than how it recognizes, say, oil drilling or agriculture. They are taking this seriously. They see all of the profit that this can bring in, and they are going with it. I like that, and I really can't wait to see what could come out of Brazil now that naturally a lot of new video game companies will probably start to emerge in Brazil. I did a quick Google search. I can't really find, that many big video game studios currently out of Brazil. The ones I could find are also stationed in a few other adjacent South American countries. So yeah, I don't know. I think this could really build some great video game studios in just Brazil and give them a really good economic advantage that they really need. So yeah, huge W for video games in Brazil. This could give some creative minds in Brazil the chance to finally develop some great games. Maybe we'll see some of them in the very near future.